Hello BookTube, I'm Peg and welcome to my channel. Well, I'm on a porch today, but not my porch. I'm in Missouri, where I stopped at my mother's house on the way home from Canada, where I attended Sean and Kenji's wedding, and it was just delightful. I don't have I plan to show some pictures and things that were taken, but I don't have the equipment. I only have my iPad, which I'm filming on, and the pictures are on there, so it's not going to work. But I'll go into that when I get home and have all my equipment. It was a wonderful experience, and everybody fell in love with Kenji. I mean, it was all Sean's old friends. I see that they just got back to Tokyo a few hours ago, I saw on Twitter, so they're back to their normal life. And I did finish the rainbow blanket I did it for them, and they were so gracious. I was so honored. They hung it right in front of their main table at the wedding banquet and had me talk about it. I was able to mention that all the BookTube people knew that they were getting married and were wishing them well, and told some other people there in Canada about BookTube. So anyway, I'm looking forward to getting back to some reading now, and I was already planning to read what's called the Not the Booker prize list. Go away. It's my brother. Okay. Not the Booker Prize list, which is a list The Guardian puts out every year to interesting to what they should have been on the Booker list. And I've had to order most of them, and my husband tells me they've come in to my house in the mail, and I'll be starting on them as soon as I get home on Sunday. But I happen to have gotten this one, Three Dreams in the Key of G by our own booktuber Marc Nash. I'd gotten it before it came out as being on the Not the Booker list, just because I enjoy Marc Nash's BookTube channel when he talks about books in such a way, interesting way, and I knew his book was coming out, and I kind of pre-ordered it through, I'm in the US, pre-ordered it through some kind of site, not Book Depository, but another site that popped up on Amazon where I got free shipping, and it came pretty quick. It came before I left. So I have been working on reading it, and as you know, I'm a retired engineer and have just come late in my life to real literary fiction. I've always read a lot of fiction and some lightly literary fiction, but mainly mysteries and science fiction. But this last year, since I've been on BookTube, I've tried and learned to really enjoy the more literary fiction that makes me think, and this one is. I'll put a link to my, I like to use some of the methods I learned in my engineering career to talk about books and things I learned to judge books. And I recently did a BookTube video where I came up with a 25-point plan to judge a book. And that makes it easier in my mind with numbers to judge books, especially when you're judging books one against the other. And it's working very well for the Booker Prize things that I'm reading. And I thought, well, I'm set. I can use that. Well, I started reading this, and my 25-point plan doesn't work. It's not complex enough for this. But I've come up with another engineering analysis method that I thought I'd talk about today that I think applies to this and other, I guess you would say, experimental type, very, very literary fiction, which I believe this is. Okay, first of all, I have to say, if you start cold reading this, you'll be lost. But I realized right away that our author, Marc, has helped us with that. I'm going to give links to 4 different BookTube videos he puts out, interviews, where he introduces this book and gives us an overview of what it's about. And I seriously believe that an author wouldn't do that if he didn't want you to listen to him introduce it before you read it. It's not like he's going to give you spoilers. The spoilers don't really apply to this kind of book anyway. Anyway, so I decided to use what they call a top-down analysis in engineering, and I think probably other fields, where you, instead of just starting at the first and going through things, I could compare it to a complex computer program. If you started looking at it at the first and tried to work your way through it, you probably would never be able to get through it or figure out what was going on. And might be the same with this book. But top-down analysis, you get as much information as you can from the from a overview, and I think this method applies to this. So I just started reading it, and I'm using this method, and it's working wonderfully for me. So I thought I'd just talk about it. First of all, as I said, Marc has given wonderful book. He's made two booktube on his own channel, an introduction, and then when it got put on the not the Booker Award list, he talked about it some more. He's done interviews. I've linked some. I understand just this week it was published in England, and he did a lengthy interview on it. And before I started again, I listened to all those, and that's so helpful because you can't get too lost because you do know what the overall picture is. Okay. So first of all, I suggest to read, you listen to his interviews. Now, I didn't read any actual reviews, though I see they're popping up right and left. I think I'll try that part of it myself. But I listened and read everything he wrote about it. As I said, it occurs to me that he wants you to know what he thinks in those lines, or he wouldn't put out the articles and the interviews. Okay. As soon as I started reading, I realized I had to read very slow. There's a lot of words that are unfamiliar to me that I really wish I had this on Kindle. Maybe it'll be out on Kindle later, because then you can just press the word and you'll get the meaning to pop up. But I decided I'm going to do the top-down approach. I'm just going to read it slowly but thoughtfully, all the way through first, and I'm getting more and more as I go. I'm getting used to the writing, and it's like a big complex puzzle to me, because I know that I'm going to want to read it again. I may even read the first part again before I go on to the second part. And already I've tried some rereading, and it's so helpful. It just opens up when you reread even once, and I have a feeling I'm going to be rereading several times. So anyway, I am super enjoying this. This is a challenge, and it's making me think in a way I haven't done in a long time, and I am just fascinated by this book. So I just wanted to suggest, if you do decide to read it, and I hope you will, it should be available most places anytime now, to at least listen to his interviews first and try the top-down analysis method. Okay, thanks, and I'll be home soon and be talking to you again, but I'm definitely going to be reading on this for at least another good week or so, and I want to read it slowly. Okay, cheers everybody, see you soon, bye.